In life, it's not necessarily about what you have. It's about what you can make out of what you have.
Sometimes your resource is to just keep going, to just show up. Double down on yourself for once in your life. Just watch what happens. How's it going, man?
It's a good day.
Yeah, it is.
Got a lot done today. Met some new people, good connections. So yeah,
Heck yeah, dude.
a lot of good movement.
Heck yeah. Had a good conversation with a good friend while driving, talking about resourcefulness, and it was really good. It was really cool to hear his perspective on, when life throws you for a loop, where do you turn to? What do you do? What kind of keeps you grounded? What keeps you moving forward and pushing through, even when you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it ties into so many different aspects of life, but yeah, resourcefulness, man.
Yeah. Well, being resourceful, I think it's a superpower. I think it's something that a lot of people don't ever tap into when they don't they always think that there's a prerequisite to it. Oh, for me to be there, I need this. I need that. For me to be at this level or at this, perspective, I need all these prerequisites in life. And a lot of times, most people who build stuff that you see and you feel didn't have the resources, and they had insufficient resources while they were doing it. And that's where the creativity and the resourcefulness is not just, I don't even think it's a character trait. I think it's a superpower of something that you can tap into internally, but it's not like limited to only certain people. I think everybody has access to be resourceful and creative. I think some people have more access to that. Mm-hmm. Being able to be being resourceful in a specific specialization, right? So the difference is understanding we have problem to solve in our coffee company, right? Me being resourceful goes and coincides with the fundamentals that I understand of a coffee and the end product. And we can then make a way to get to that same end product, but it may be a different route because of my specialization in coffee. But regardless of coffee, I really do think that resourcefulness it's a very underutilized trait that I think really unlocks a whole nother level for a lot of people. And a lot of people, when you break down the actual, okay, if you sit down and put it on paper, this is where I want to go. Traveling from A to B, it's really not that tough. It's all of the detours that we put in place that we think are prerequisites to get to B, and it's not actually the case. You don't need this, and that. And when I say by that, to give examples, everybody thinks you need a college education or you need certifications or you need some type of legal entity to say that you're qualified.
You almost need permission.
Yeah, you need permission to do something that you already know how to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right.
Or something you don't know how to do, but you want to know how to do it.
Yeah. So
getting it started.
Yeah. And that inhibits a lot of people because they sit there and they're like, man, I just need, for me to get into a better job, into an executive position, I just need a bachelor's or a master's degree in this specific specialization.
Yeah.
And for a time period, that was true. But today, with the access that we have to the internet, to technology, we were just talking about the scalability of integrating technology and AI into your company.
Yeah.
You have access to tools today that your grandfather and your grandfather would love to have a tenth of the access you have in the technology.
You take the resourcefulness that they had, their creativity, with a technology like what we have today, I mean, I think our creativity nowadays is so stifled because of like complacency, because of technology, like if that makes sense. Like we get in our own way because of social media or just comfort culture, right? Like a lot of people don't like to challenge themselves. They don't like to do hard things. They don't like to be uncomfortable learning, because those first 20 hours of learning anything suck. Like you feel like, man, I am just wasting my time. This is so dumb. I'm so bad. But everybody starts there. So it's a little reassuring. I'm curious. So given everything you've said so far, like this topic of resourcefulness, what would you say a just quick 1-sentence definition of resourcefulness is for you? Like when you hear the word resourceful or resources, like what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is you're stepping up to the batter's plate and you realize you don't have the cleats that you need to get to the next base. You have half a bat and you might have a helmet, and you don't necessarily know who's pitching and what kind of pitch and the speed of the pitch that's coming at you. You know, you could be in softball, or slow pitch, or you could be in an MLB 90 mile an hour, pitch that's coming your way. But having inadequate resources doesn't give you a reason to say, I'm just not going to swing.
Yeah.
Really in life, it's not necessarily about what you have. It's about what you can make out of what you have.
Dude, yes.
And we started our company no different than anybody else. We had no money. We were right out of college. We had started in a garage. Newly married, just got out of the honeymoon, spent all your money, dead broke,
Right.
And that was us, but we had a dream. We had a vision of, we want to produce coffee for a lot of people.
Right.
And that was our like initiative enough to get us going.
Yeah.
And we scraped together what funds we could, and we bought a sample roaster that is well within most people's budget today to be able to do. And that's what we started our company on. We started building up this back end of our websites and ordering and customer experience. We focused on customer experience and how we can give them a product that would make them feel super exclusive and special.
Yeah.
And it's something that we're proud of. And that's what we focused on. And out of that, you grow and you get better and you fail. Mm-hmm. But I don't think in our company, we've never been at a time where we're like, man, we just have every resource we ever needed to do what we need to do.
We've never felt that way.
It's always been a lack. It's never been like that.
Well, it's always been a lack of available resources, but out of our abundant creativity, I'd say we've been able to make it to where we are today.
Oh, for sure.
We're extremely blessed. Sure. So, yeah, man. So that's like kind of where we are today. So taking it back even further, thinking back, like when you first started your first marketing job and became an executive and you're managing all these companies, like how did you, when you're sitting in the cubicle and you're like, all right, I've got this team that depends on me to be a creative. How do I turn nothing into something? Like how do I get to where I need to go to be successful?
Well, with the technology we have today, you can simply go on google.com and you can type in a question and it'll spit out something. It's a great start. It sounds it's a great start. Simple, but I'm telling you, most of the stuff that you need to know how to do and you don't know how to do, if you started with Google or YouTube, you can find out 90%, maybe even more than that, on how to do almost anything nowadays. Because there's so much, there's just so much out there and there's so much available within your fingertips.
Yeah.
For instance, like when we started a company, you don't necessarily know what are all the steps that it takes. There's a lot of steps to starting a roastery. Why? Because, there's USDA, there's FDA, there's you've got your state, your federal, you've got your certifications,
local county stuff,
local county inspections. You've got this, and that. But we went into Google, and I had a little bit of not working knowledge and knowing how to start a company because I had started previous ones, but I started right in the beginning. Go to Google, find out what you need, and build from there. And that's anything that you want to go into. Don't look at this as like, okay, this is only our perspective because we built a company. No, if you want to become a car mechanic, YouTube has almost every single how to replace a whole transmission, head gasket, anything you could dream of, any make, model, year, it's on there.
100%.
And the tools are free.
Whether you're doing something with your hands, rebuilding a house, doing stuff with a car. I mean, if you're learning to crochet, if you're in school and you're learning how to do Euler's formula, like, you can find anything. Yeah. I mean, Khan Academy got me through college. Like, that was the most boring stuff in the world, but man, that was a good resource because that's what I had. Like, had I had AI now, oh my gosh, school would have been almost too easy because, like, you have access to that. And I don't know what school's like right now because I'm not in college going through it with access to this technology. I'm sure there's a lot more work that the professors have to do, which is a good thing. Because I think a lot of professors were getting a little idle with how they coached their students into success, depending on where you went to school and all that fun stuff. But not to go down that rabbit hole, I think when I think of resourcefulness, I think of this book that I read back in, like, I don't know, I was probably 9 or 10. I think it was called Hatchet. Did you ever read that book?
No.
So
I know of the book.
From what I remember, this kid's on a plane. And, you know, he's going somewhere and he's flying over like this wilderness and the plane malfunctions and crashes. And he's the only one that survives. And when he like comes to in all the plane's wreckage, the only thing that he has is a hatchet. So like this kid, you know, I think in the book he's like young, you know, like middle school, maybe early high school. I don't really remember. But he's got this hatchet and he's like, well, I'm not just going to like give up. I need to live. Like I need to, you know, fight or flight takes over. And so he's like, my only resource is this hatchet. And so he goes to work and he starts to, well, okay, I need shelter and I don't have any clothes. I can't really make clothes. So I'm just going to have a way to clean and dry mine. I got to get food. So he finds a way to like set traps and all this stuff. And long story short, he survives. And I think at the end of the book, he gets rescued or something like that. Like he survives long enough in the wilderness and gets rescued. Sorry to spoil it for you all folks if you're going to go home and read it, but I think it's a happy ending. But the point is, like, dude, if you're in the wilderness where literally, like, you're at zero, like, you have nothing, you're starting over, and all you have is a hatchet, you just got to make do with what you got. Yeah. And you gotta use your brain to get yourself out of crappy situations. And I think that whether you're a student, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an intrapreneur in a company growing, you've got to just look at, hey, this is where I'm at, and I don't really know how to get to where I want to go, but I have these tools at my disposal. I just got to get to work. I just got to start swinging that hatchet, you know, chopping down that tree, and one log at a time, I'm going to build my safety, my structure. So I don't know, as you were talking about something that memory, I haven't read that book in years.
That's really good perspective. And I'm going to take a side off that. So a lot of people, they get a hatchet, right? And that's what they have. Because a hatchet requires manual labor. It requires each swing you make one hit of progress. Yeah. A lot of people look at this hatchet and they're like, man, if I had a Sawzall. Man, if I had this. Oh,
dude. Man, if that steel chainsaw, baby.
Oh, man, if I had a steel chainsaw. But they don't realize, like, because they're holding this hatchet in their hand and they're yearning for a chainsaw, they never actually use the hatchet.
Bro.
And the hatchet does the same function. It's just manually slower.
Right.
But I'd reckon, like, if you've ever seen any of those, like, lumberjack competitions or whatever, some of these guys with a hatchet, a well-sharpened hatchet can make faster progress than some of the guys with a mid-tier chainsaw. Yeah. And it's all about how you use it and how you sharpen it. Yeah. Understanding your tool is not the problem. It's you got to swing with the tool enough to realize, man, maybe I should sharpen it a little bit.
And the first time you swing that axe, you're probably not going to bury it very deep because you don't know how to swing it efficiently. You don't know, hey, this is the best angle that if I strike this tree, I'm going to do the most damage to burying this hatchet's head. Yeah, the sharpness and the efficiency of it, you only get that with time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude.
Well, what's great about a hatchet is it's not about how much force you put into it. What really works a hatchet well is a consistent swing, making sure you're hitting the right spot every time. It's not about the brute force you run into it.
Dude, such a good picture.
Can we swing one after another?
Yes.
With ease and consistency.
Correct.
And that's where you make progress.
100%, dude. Because if you're not hitting the same spot, like let's say you're sitting down at the computer to do some work one day, and you're like, I'm going to focus on this for an hour. And you spend that first hour and you're like, I'm focused on this. Well, then you go do your thing and you come back the next day and you're like, well, I didn't really do that much progress in that hour, so I'm going to try doing an hour of this. And it's close. It's kind of related, but it's slightly off the mark. That's exactly what you're saying. You're missing that hatchet swing by just enough that you're almost starting over. You're basically hitting the face of that tree, not the wedge that you've already started hacking away at. Dude, that's real, dude. No, that was your image. Good. That's what came out, man. That's awesome. And I think, yeah, dude, whether you got a dull hatchet or, dude, your hatchet's old and rusty and it's rounded on the edge, dude. If you can find a way to sharpen, like skills matter. Like being resourceful comes down to your skill. Like it comes down to what you believe about yourself and what resources you have in here and in here, right? Like, you know, I remember we got home one night and this was our old house and a pipe had burst and Lord knows how long that water had been running, but I didn't panic because I knew what to do. Like I know how to solve this, but it wasn't always that way. Now, if I was 15 and came home and was home alone and a pipe burst, like I'd be freaking out because I've never plumbed before. I've never sweated copper. I've never put PEX on a line. I don't know what to do. I'd freak out. I'd call somebody. And that's my resource. That's at that time, that would be the resource that I had is I don't know what to do, but I know someone that does. So even if that's you and your hatchet's dull and you're like, man, I don't have any way to sharpen this hatchet. Somebody knows how to sharpen that hatchet. Go find that somebody. Right? I mean, resourcefulness nowadays could just be asking a friend. And in your case, you may be alone in your basement right now. Like, dude, that could just be Google. It could just be an AI chatbot. Hey, you know, my hatchet's really dull. I need to sharpen it. You know, whatever that looks like for somebody at home or someone listening. Like, you got to find a way to sharpen your tool. And that tool is generally your mind. So, but I think you don't take the leap to actually start sharpening your axe until you believe in your heart that the axe is the right tool. And the axe is what it takes.
Staring at the axe, wishing it's a chainsaw is not going to swing the axe.
Yeah. There's no progress.
You got to take that thing and own it.
Yeah, dude.
And once you do that, you actually start making progress. That's the resourcefulness and the inhibitor of being resourceful. It's wishing you had something else.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. The problem lies within that you just need sometimes like just taking a content spot of it. Okay, this is where I'm at. It's not where I want to be, but this is where I'm at right now. And taking that spot of humbleness and saying, all right, I'm going to use what I got. And you get to where you want to go down the line. It may not be as fast as you thought, but there's a quote that I've always lived by. It was a mentor of mine that told me one time, and this boils into it, but a lot of people overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, but they drastically underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years.
Amen.
And with the impulse culture that we're in, right? Everybody thinks, oh man, I can do everything in like 5 days.
Yeah.
And you know, there's some things that you can achieve in 5 days, probably. But after, you know, let's say they want to learn something new or they want to advance in this area of their life, they'll put in 30 days. And if they don't see any progress, they give up.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case, man. Like when you realize Right. If you thought you could move a mountain in 1 year, it's probably not going to happen. But the good thing about being a long-term focused person, if your goal is to move that mountain and your perspective's 5 years, right? And then after year one, you understand that, hey, if I just gathered a team of 20, this could be a whole lot faster. And you collaborate with people, then you find out, 5 years with 20 people, totally possible.
Yeah.
Right. What seemed so daunting and so big, such a hard goal to achieve, becomes pretty simple. And you weed out everything out of what you thought you needed as a prerequisite to get to where you want to go, because you simply, your timeline was wrong. Right. And your timeline doesn't have to be nothing. Like, very few things take 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Okay. There's you can have giant goals to for instance, if you want to build $1 trillion company like Bezos, that takes 20, 30 years. But even then, most people, their goals within what they want to do in their life will not take even 10 years to achieve. Most of their goals are achievable within 2 to 5 years. But they think they can do it in 30 days, and that's what keeps them from doing it in 2 to 5 years.
Yeah. Well, and especially in people nowadays, they see an instant gratification version, this super condensed timeline that's just not realistic. I mean, we started Pure Earth in 2022, and here it is in 2026. And I think at the beginning we both were like, oh yeah, this would be awesome, cakewalk. All we got to do is sell some bags online. We'll be bajillionaires overnight. And we weren't doing it for the money, but we were just hey, our product is so good, everyone's just going to find out about us. And it's no, that's not really the case. There's a lot more blood, sweat, and tears that you got to shed with a startup to get it to a point where people are wow, you've maintained a business for, 4 years going on 5. Well done. Hey, what is it? 95% of businesses fail within the first year. And then after that, 99% of who's left fail. So you're in the 1% if you can survive. And survival is not easy nowadays because the competition is so fierce for the people that are trying. But because of that competition, at least in the business space, there's a lot of barriers to entry for people sitting at home thinking, well, I really want to do this, and they're not relying on those resources that they have. Keep your wits about you and just trust yourself. You can do it. We're not special guys. We just put our heads together and said, hey man, what one man can do, so can another. So why can't we? Mm-hmm. Right? Let's figure out how to do this. When we were prepping for a farmer's market one night and we're sitting there roasting, I don't know, probably 24 bags a piece on our original roaster.
Which I mind you took 6 hours.
Dude, it was brutal. It's it was very laborious, and I never would have expected that we'd be sitting in front of this guy. Never would have dreamed that. But I had the faith every single day to keep going. You had the faith every single day to keep going, and that's what counts, man. Sometimes your resource is to just keep going, to just show up. And just showing up is much better than sitting on the couch and just staying on the couch, watching one more Netflix episode, doom scrolling a little bit more. Double down on yourself for once in your life. Just watch what happens. There's someone said, I can't remember who it was, but man, I need to be better about these names thing. But he's talking about the number of dreams, inventions, solutions that would change people's lives that go to the grave because people didn't believe in themselves and they just died with their dreams. I'd challenge everybody listening, don't be that guy, don't be that girl. Double down on yourself and just commit to that dream, regardless how daunting it is. The bigger the dream, the more scared you are, there is resistance for that dream for a reason. We're both Christian guys. We believe in a spiritual realm. There is resistance to that for a reason, because it solves a huge problem. And that's why there's so much resistance. You have to lean into that resistance. You have to lean into that fear, that worry, that anxiety, and just know that if that's your signal, that's a good signal. It doesn't feel good, but that's a good signal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the daunting dream means you're on the right path. And it's great. It's a great picture because if something was really worth the view that you're looking up at, it's not supposed to be easy. Because if it was easy, then there would be no fulfillment when you actually conquer the mountain.
Yeah.
Right? There has to be some type of elevation, some type of growth process, a reinvention of yourself along the way. That's what makes achieving stuff great. That's what makes everything worthwhile. And, it's not always the bigger dream, the better fulfillment you get. Because each person has their own path that they're on in life. And whether it's, you're trying to do something that no man has done, like go to Mars and put a colony on Mars, like versus, it's my life goal to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mother and mother these 4 children as good as I can. Like all of those have incredible amounts of fulfillment along the way. And it's your own personal feat, your goal, your mountain. And I think there's tons of fulfillment in that. And it's not a measuring tool of, whose mountain, whose goals are bigger.
Your mountain, that's all that matters.
No, the one that you're up in front against is your best suited life journey ahead of you.
Yeah.
You just need to own it and take it and move forward. And don't cry about, I wish it was something else. This is your situation. And, I believe that God has providentially put something in place in your life for a specific reason.
Amen, dude.
And when you can get on the path, I was just talking to Bailey about this today. When you can get on a path where every day you're doing something exactly what you want to do and you're building towards an end goal, a future of that, it's the most euphoric, energizing, purpose-filled life that you can be a part of.
Yeah, dude.
And a lot of people, probably wouldn't want my job, or they do want my job, but I love my job because it's the perfect job for me.
Yeah.
I love what I'm doing because it's absolutely perfect for my life. And I'm so happy God's allowed us to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't ever think and look to the side, to the left or the right of me and think, oh man, like I just want somebody else's life. No, like the life that you have is the life that you create. And the life that we've created is something that God has put in place for us. Mm-hmm. We are here for a reason. Everybody is here for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think you can have, if it's your life goal and dream to be, a welder on some really sophisticated project, let's say you're welding for a skyscraper or something, or you're welding, an oil rig in the middle of the ocean, and it's your life goal to be a part of, discovery of new resource or something like that's so fulfilling.
Yeah.
And I think you should make it your life goal to just do what you're fulfilled to do every single day. And we have some guys in here, and on our production team and all on our tech service team, that they come from so many different backgrounds. But what I love about our team is every person that's on our team right now, whether they were qualified, adequate or not, every single one of them come together and they know this is their spot on the bus and this is where they want to be.
Yeah.
And that's why our work environment is so great, is because every person in the company, this is their goal. This is what they want to do. And they want to help build towards that. And it gives them life, and they're able to just absolutely conquer things that I would have never dreamed we could do with such the small team that we have, simply because they own it and they realize this is so fulfilling. Mm-hmm. And that's just what I recommend to anybody who's on a path of life. If you're in a path of your life that you're unhappy with it, or you don't necessarily know what's next, or you're in the gap of, I don't really want to be here, but I don't really know what I want to do.
Yeah.
that's fine, but don't stay there forever. You got to branch out of that and realize you need to sit down, take a Saturday, take a Sunday, sit down and turn off all your devices, your phone, TV, everything, and just go for a walk or sit on your couch and just think about it and pray about it.
Yeah.
And I think when you do that, God opens up something inside of you through the whisper. Sometimes most people have just so much noise in their life that they're not able to actually listen to the whisper. And in that, you'll breathe so much life. And you'll be on a new path to an energizing, more purpose-filled path than you've ever thought you were going to be before. So that's my recommendation. There was a lot of time behind anything that we've created today, anything that we've put together. There's a lot of time just sitting and praying and letting God speak.
Amen.
Don't try to talk over him. Just let God speak. Let him talk to you in a manner that he is dominance, and he knows what's best for your life because he created your life. Mm-hmm. And that's the best place to be. That is 100% the best place to be. And I promise you, he wants more for you than you want for your own life. So if you're unhappy or if you're not in the right space, the right mind, he wants more for you than you could ever imagine. And he's not going to leave you there.
100%.
But you can leave yourself there. He won't leave you there, but you can leave yourself there. Yep. And
yeah,
you'll at the end of the day, you have a hatchet. So
yeah, dude, there's so many different paths we could take. Just everything you were saying, man. I think nowadays meaning like in our culture, in our society today, there is a lack of getting alone, being bored, just sitting with yourself, sitting with your resources, if that's what you want to call it, and really just taking an account of your life and being like, man, today, like, man, I had a great day. I'm really feeling great. I love where I'm at. Or you might be on the other end of the spectrum. Man, I'm just at my wit's end. I can't do this anymore. Like, you're on your knees, you're crying. Whichever, like, wherever you're at in the spectrum, you just have to sit and just be. And remember, like, today's not the end of the world. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. But, the hardships you face today, go to sleep, wake up, try again tomorrow.
The simple things done well, we go back to the basics. We talk about going back to the basics. The basics, the reason they're so important is because they're so overlooked, but they make the most progress in your life.
Yep.
It's the simple things that just click and make sense.
Yeah.
And I think it's designed that way. I really do think there's a creator in this world that is so complex that he decided simple was the way. And that's counterculture. It doesn't make sense. But it's like when you understand, like Bailey's got a background of engineering. When you understand that you can solve a problem with 20 different fixes to it, but none of them are standard, it just makes maintaining that so much harder. Mm-hmm. Because, you got metric here and you got imperial here and then you got levers and you got all this stuff when, a ball joint works really, really good for a kneecap, man. And it just makes the body run, and it's two parts. It's so simple.
Yeah.
And I think it's meant to be that way. The basics mm-hmm. of waking up, giving thanks, getting into the word and understanding that there's somebody out there who cares about you more than yourself for how you are to do life.
Amen. Amen.
Be willing to just navigate that. And I know not everybody in the audience is spiritual. Not everybody in the audience has found their path yet. And I understand that. Trust me, I want to invite you onto this amazing journey. That's why I talk about it so much, and Bailey and I speak about it. This is something that we don't say because we grew up this way.
Yeah.
We say this because we have found so much life being in the kingdom that there is no other better way to do life.
Yeah.
And when you find that inside of you, it makes sense. And it's basic. It is so basic. And yet it's overlooked.
Yeah.
It's overlooked so much.
As you were talking, I was thinking about, the importance of your first 30 minutes. And, for us, our routines are roughly the same as far as you wake up, you make your double shot espresso, and then you just sit with the Lord. And, there's a lot of humility in those actions. And in the same way, getting down to the basics, the fundamentals, right? You look at athletes, you look at champions, Michael Jordan, Jalen Hurts, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, he would wake up at 3-4 in the morning and get to the gym just to shoot hundreds of free throws. Mm-hmm. Why? Because that was the basics. That was the fundamental. He'd do layups. He'd shoot from the three-point line. He worked on his craft in a very humble setting. No fans, nobody looking, no one there to applaud. He just showed up and did the work. And that's what's required for being successful in whatever it is. If you're a student studying, if you're in a business, if you're working for the man, dude, do it to the best of your abilities, because that's what's required of you today. And if you don't like where you're at and you don't like what's required of you, keep doing it, but challenge yourself to do a little more for you, for yourself. Get out of your comfort zone to grow, stretch those resources, find new resources. You may have resources that you haven't even found that are actually what your life needs to get to that next level, or to actually take a step closer to your dream. And it all starts with the belief in yourself. So going back to the basics, man, sharpening that hatchet.
You talk about shooting for the moon in the dream and the goal. You know what I think is really funny? We landed on the moon with a protractor and kilobytes of data. Okay. Within your pocket today, you have access to terabytes of data.
Yep.
Okay. And yet people still complain why they can't get halfway to the moon. But your iPhone, your Android, has 1 million times the capacity that it took to actually land on the moon.
The tools are there.
Yeah.
The resources are there.
Your resources that you think you need, you don't.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that to you guys right now. Everything that you think you need to get where you need to go, you could probably lose 80% of those resources that you think you need in your mind and still get there. It might not be as fast. The only great thing about resources is speed, right? But no one also talks about having too much resource.
Yeah.
Because when you get too much resource, you become lazy. You become complacent, right? There's a lot of companies out there that started with $1 million or $500,000 in budget, and they're not doing half the stuff that we're doing, and we started with $3,000. But because they thought when they ever faced a problem in their path, they thought they could just throw money at it and it would solve it. When a lot of times money's not the solve or the problem, right? It's resourcefulness. And with that being said, everything that you're trying to do, your mind can either make you get there or it can break you before you even start. Take time to build a mindset that doesn't restrict you from doing something simply because you have inadequate resources.
Yeah.
Just start one swing at a time. I think that's something in my life that I've always done. At the bare bones of things, I can swing a hatchet. I might not be the best, but I'm going to swing it once, twice, 3 times. And the cool thing is I met Bailey, and Bailey didn't necessarily start with a hatchet that I started with. Everybody's got a different scenario, different life. But what Bailey's really good at is he's really good at, instead of me swinging a hatchet, he'll bring 6 other guys with him, and we'll all swing a hatchet. And we can get a lot more done with a lot more people.
Yeah.
That's a skill set of recruitment, of understanding. He may not know how to swing the hatchet the way I swing the hatchet, but he knows 6 other guys, that can do the same function. And that brings up progress, and that gets you to where you need to go in life. Being willing to just be open-sided to what's in front of you, and be resourceful in the manner of collaboration. Collaboration is a resource in and of itself.
100%.
Whatever you're doing in life, you're not going to get to the final goal by yourself.
Yeah.
You won't. I promise you. I don't care how good and how prideful, egotistical you are and how great you think you are, whether you're the absolute best in your category, you're not going to be getting to the actual peak by yourself.
Yeah.
It's not how life works.
Yeah.
And it's easier to bring people along who are specialized in certain parts of the area you want to go.
Yeah.
And being humble enough to say, hey, I don't know everything, but I know somebody who can do this specific function. And you make a lot of progress by doing that. You really do.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I would say everybody has that memory from school of like, man, I don't know how to learn this thing, but I know the dude who does, like going through Calc 2, and it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know someone who does. And resources.
Listen, I'm not going to cheat on a test, but I know the guys whose results are the best.
I'll sit next to him. No, I'm kidding. Resources are simply like your time, your talents, your treasure, your money, and your team. Really beyond those things, like that's kind of the culmination of your resources, right? Like if you can spread them out on a table, that's what you got. You get to pick, different scenarios, different resources work better. Like, yeah, there are some solutions that you can just kind of shoot the money gun at it and make problems go away. If you're like us, we don't really have that luxury all the time. And so we have to be resourceful, and we have to leverage people, or we have to leverage our time, or leverage our talents and our creativity. And, it's regardless of what you're doing in life, I think you just have to be resourceful. I mean, that's the culmination of today.
I think a huge lever that we pull is we leverage vision.
Yes.
There are so many people out there that maybe don't have any tools, they don't have any means, they don't have any friends, they don't have anything, but they have a vision in their head. And if you can take a vision in your head and put it on a piece of paper, you're getting somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Everything in our company that has made giant leaps in our progress was vision. Because we can cast a vision, and we're so refined on that vision. Mm-hmm. I think people don't realize how refined you need to be. No, when you thought a hatchet was good, no, you need to break down below a chisel. Yeah. Like you need to know exactly, I want this and not this. Yep. This is why. And when you understand that you can cast a vision, and by casting a vision, it'll invite other people into collaboration.
Yep.
In their specific area that they're specialized in, that will help that vision go forward. And there's a lot of things in our company that all it was a video, a vision. This is what we want to do. And it was very, very refined.
Yeah.
And then that allowed people to come in and be like, oh, I'm good at this. This is a part of your vision. Hop on board, and every part of that has been a big useful tool that we use. Because when you are young, here's the thing, when you are young, you have all the time in the world, which means you can dream dreams bigger than anybody else because you simply have space and time. When you're older or you're middle-aged, right, you have probably less time than you've ever had before. When you're older, you have more time, but you have less runway of ambition to achieve whatever new vision you have. But when you're younger, you have the absolute advantage.
Yeah.
And you have all the time in the world, all the vision in the world, and all the runway and the ambition. You just don't have the money. You don't have the people, you don't have the collaboration, you don't have the reputation or the history. All of that can be harnessed, but you have vision, and vision is powerful because everything comes and starts from vision.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the windshield, man.
Yeah, well, it gives you vision, gives you the direction, and Quentin said that my skill set's bringing a team, being a connector, having the right people. Quentin's vision is that's everything you see is because of what's been in Quentin's brain. Like, he's a visionary. He's a business leader in that sense. He knows, okay, this is what my mind's eye sees. Now I just need to create it. And so he'll pull himself away from the daily tasks and everything that's visible. And then he'll come back and be like, look at this. And it's this amazing thing that it's like, bro, my brain was on this little thing and you just blew it all up. So like, yeah, like, let's go. This is way cooler. And, he talked about you need that thing that stirs you, that wakes you up in the morning. Like, that's what his skill set is. And like, he'll show it to me and I'm like, okay, this is how we build it. And so like, our dynamic works. And the whole point of this is like, you can't do life alone. You can't go at it alone. That mountain you're trying to climb, you need a buddy. Whether it's just a buddy for safety, a buddy to help you carry all your snacks because you like to eat food on the way up to that mountaintop, or it's just a buddy who's like, hey man, you don't think you can do this, but I've been up this mountain several times. I know you can do it. Let's go. Everyone's got a buddy for a specific reason. Like, you just can't do life alone, man. You got to have a buddy.
Having one person believe in you, simply just one, will make you go so much further than you could ever imagine. And having more than one is just, it's more beneficial, but having nobody versus having just one person that believes in you,
yeah,
really will make the difference, especially in the hardest times that you'll ever go through. Whether you've been in this, whether you've been a corporate job, white collar most of your life, 30 years, and they force on retirement to you or you get laid off. Having one person to go home and just believe in you for the next step really does make all the difference. And there's times in my life where I've had Bailey, and I've been madly blessed to have Bailey along the way in our journey. But even then, like, when Bailey's not there, I go home and there's one person that cares for me to succeed more than I do in the hardest times, and that's my wife. Having somebody that you can go home that believes in you, believes in your vision, that they will drop everything that they've been a part of to help you move forward in that.
Yeah.
And that's a special thing, man. Having somebody to count on when you're looking at the wall and you're 2 years deep into something and you realize, man, I just don't know if this is going to work. And trust me, there's times where we were 2 years and 8 months in, and we're like, what's next? How can we get out of this hole? And you can't see beyond a foot in front of you.
Yeah. You're climbing the mountain and it's the false peak.
It's like, the smoke in the mountain, man. And you can't see anything.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at that and I'm like, well, I have a tolerance that I'm willing to risk. And everybody's got a different tolerance, but I have a tolerance in my heart of what I'm willing to risk to make something happen. And I was beat down to that point. And I just remember that, my wife saying, we've come too far to stop and we have to move forward. And I didn't come all this way. We didn't change over our complete lives in a 180 to just get to a point where we can just give up, And little did I know that was the little bit of oxygen I needed to get into the next day, the next month. And by year 3, everything had completely 180'd and completely changed. And we were on a perspective, a momentum that we could never fathom. And from there, we've just had an immense amount of momentum. And that was, something so small And somebody that you can count on that would just speak life into you when you need it is incredibly important.
Yeah.
And that's why collaboration, it really is key. Because if you don't have collaboration, there's going to be a time where you hit your breaking point, your limitation of this is what I'm willing to risk to get there.
Yeah.
And you may not make it past that day, and you might retreat down the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, we have that person in our spouses, but if you're at home, if you're by yourself and you don't have that person that believes in you, you have to be that person. And if you don't have belief in yourself, you have to find a way to build that belief, build that confidence in yourself. And that starts today by not lying to yourself and saying, hey, I'm going to commit to these things and I'm going to do these things because I'm making a promise to myself. The only way your self-worth in your own heart is built up is by doing hard things for yourself. Take going to the gym and working out, for example. Commit to, you don't even have to go to a gym. Commit to waking up, or forget that. Commit to every day just doing 100 push-ups for 30 days straight. If you can commit to doing 100 push-ups every day for 30 days and not missing a single rep, by that 30th day, you're going to be like, yeah, I can do this. I may not be able to go bench 225 100 times a day, but I can do 100 push-ups every single day. I just did it for 30 days. Look at all these days that I won. And you're proving to yourself, hey, I'm worthy. I'm capable. I can do this. And if you're like, yeah, that's all hokey pokey, whatever, like, dude, there's always one person who believes in you, and that's your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Like, he always is there for you. So, yeah, you may not be spiritual or anything like that, and that's totally fine, but find a way to get some belief in yourself, because we believe in you. I mean, 100%. Email us. We'll email you back.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, man. Well, let's wrap it up. If you got any final thoughts, we've been talking a lot about resources, so wrap it up for you guys.
That's good. Well, I appreciate you guys' time coming on. This is our podcast. This is called the Pursuit Podcast, and we want to hear from you. This is not a one-way conversation. We want feedback from you guys, so reach out to us, leave comments,
please,
and don't be afraid. We want to be as useful as possible to you guys.
We want to be a resource to you guys.
Yes, that's great. But
yeah, well, if I have to wrap it up in one sentence, I think I'd say if the mountain were smooth, you couldn't climb it. You wouldn't be able to. So figure out your resources and get to work. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Yes, sir.
Peace.